And you're spending thousands, millions sometimes on ads just to send them to a website, and you track all the way there, and then you don't do anything about the actual website. And it's astonishing sometimes when we show clients how much money they're spending to send potential customers or audiences to the site, and then 70% of them leave when they get to the homepage and don't engage in any way, taking 7 seconds to load, and everybody's left by the time the page is loaded. Within month 1, we reduced the load time from being something ridiculous like 7 seconds to milliseconds.
Wow.
But then it's engineered to convert. We identified what those quick wins would be worth. They've got to be invested. We are custodians of their website, but you can't just set and forget.
Welcome to the Marketechs show. I'm Nirmal, co-founder and CEO of WP Creative. So what is a Marketech? It is a term we coined. We call ourselves Marketechs. Marketing vision plus technical execution, not just devs. On this show, we talk a bit about marketing, a bit of tech, AI, and everything in between, all to help you turn your website into a growth engine. Today, I'm joined by Stacy, our client partner. Her whole job is to make sure our client gets result and keep growing. If you want to know why some sites convert and others don't, this one is for you. Welcome, Stacy.
Thank you.
As a client partner, you help clients to grow their results, get the results, and keep growing. When you look into client website, how do you know where to start when you want to improve the performance? What do you look at usually?
Well, before I look at anything, I will talk to the client, because there is no such thing as a one size fits all website. So, in my role, my aim is to essentially become part of the marketing team. So understand as quickly as I can what is the role of the website within that organization. And also what the marketing team's own goals are, so we can actually identify opportunities that they might not even have thought of, where the website can help them deliver on their business goals. So, yes, I guess the first stage is having a discovery conversation with the client to learn about their business. And then also we then look under the hood, and we do that in combination with our engineering team.
Yeah, there are a lot. When you look under the hood, I'm sure you'll find a lot of issues, technical problems, and the tracking issues and performance gaps and all these things. I'm sure you look into the heat map, the clarity and the Google Analytics and all these things. There's a lot of things going on.
Sure.
Some of them are signal, some of them is noise. How do you figure out which one is signal, which one is noise? How do you focus into what moves the needle?
Sure, and that's again comes back to understanding the purpose of the organization. So, for example, we work with e-commerce brands often. The goal of an e-commerce brand is to showcase products and move those products in sales as quickly as possible. Whereas we work with some professional services firms where the website has a completely different role. They have 6, sometimes 7-figure services, and the website is used as a lead generation tool, but also as a platform to nurture prospects over sometimes an 18-month to 2-year sales cycle. So the role of the website there is to showcase proof content, case studies, and things that will build confidence within the prospective clients, so that the sales cycle is accelerated. And we also work with not-for-profits. I ran a discovery session just the other day, and to understand who's using the website, who are the different stakeholders. And the key insight that came out of that is that people in crisis come to use this service, but they don't know what service they need. They know what's going on in their lives. They know what problem they are experiencing, but they need support on the website to identify the service that's most applicable to them. So, each of those websites have got completely different purpose. So once I understand the purpose of the website, then from this mass of data and signs and signals, we can go, well, what's actually important here? And in the case of e-commerce, we're looking at sales conversion rates, essentially, or it might be, book an appointment to a showroom, for example. But if we're looking at a service business, it's like how many people are actually downloading white papers, or how many people are engaging with the case studies. And you look at the, for example, the not-for-profit, and that might be how are people navigating around the site and how are they discovering the services, So It's not an easy answer, I'm afraid. It's a very much an it depends. But it's why you need a client partner to help kind of figure out what the best signs are.
Yeah, exactly. You look at the business outcome. What are they trying to achieve? What are their long-term vision, short-term vision, the marketing goal? And then you go back, you try to connect all these dots with the technology and the marketing, because there are so many things going on with the design, the marketing, and you connect the dot.
Yeah, I'm like the translator. Take the marketing, business goals, work with the engineering and the UX team. And most websites either boil down to a combination usually of a technical or infrastructure challenge that's like slowing down the site or affecting the performance of the site that way, or it comes onto a user journey perspective, where there's something in the design or the user flow that's affecting the performance. And it's generally a two-pronged approach, really, the solution.
There's a lot of things going on there. And there is a long-term vision as well to help the clients to achieve their goal. And at the same time, there are a lot of things in the under the hood, which is blocker, to achieve that goal as well. How do you look into those different, issues, challenges, technical issues, security issues, the marketing, CRO, EFCI, all these things, and then focus into what to fix the first? How do you decide what to fix first?
Well, this is why we have a world-class engineering team and a UX specialist. I sit and work with them. These are not decisions I make on my own. We look at what's costing the most money, essentially.
True. Yeah. What is costing them the most money?
What's having the biggest impact? It's not always about money, but what's having the biggest impact. So we try and have a longer term strategy, but also focus on what are going to be the quick wins that we can do in a short space of time to move the needle enough to, be able to invest in those more strategic, longer term strategies.
Yeah. So it is looking at the short term as well, gain and removing the blocker, and then is to keep an eye on the long term, the goal to help businesses achieve that. You have worked with multiple different businesses. In what situation businesses hesitate to invest in website improvement? They don't see the outcome. They don't see the benefit of investing into the website, or they keep that in silos. It's a different problem than the business problem.
Yeah, all the time. I don't think anyone ever thinks of website development as being particularly sexy, do they? So, it's probably not the most exciting thing on their marketing plan. And sometimes they don't even think about it. It's often seen as being this sort of tech side project without. So there is often a lot of joining the dots between where you're spending all this money on your advertising, you've got creative agencies, and you've got your ads just perfect, and you're spending thousands, millions sometimes on ads to send them to a website, and you track all the way there, and then you don't do anything about the actual website. And it's astonishing sometimes when we show clients how much money they're spending to send potential customers or audiences to the site, and then 70% of them leave when they get to the homepage and don't engage in any way with all this content that they've spent a fortune producing. So that's more common than you would think. So I think it's just piecing everything together and taking people on a journey to understand that actually you are spending all that investment before people reach the website. Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going, and you will see the ROI.
Yeah, marketing flywheel has to keep running.
Yeah.
And consistency, I think everyone says consistency is the most important thing, rather than the tricks and tactics trying different things. You need to keep constantly running the flywheel, which is all the marketing channel firing and the site working, and the funnel working well. That ultimately compounds.
And there are parts of website development that are exciting and are sexy and do look great on a presentation to the board, which they're more the kind of outward facing, the user experience changes and the redesigns and things, of which we do a lot of. But there's also the boring but really important technical infrastructure things that stops your site being deprioritized for Google, for example, or taking 7 seconds to load and everybody's left by the time the page is loaded. What people often don't think about that makes a profound difference if you get it right.
Yeah. Many businesses don't see the value in marketing, even though they know marketing is important to grow the business, achieve the goal, but still they don't see the value. As you mentioned, people are hesitant to invest money into the website improvement. What usually helps them to see the value is that the aesthetic, like the fancy design look and feel, it is going to transition from this to this, or is that more on the revenue goal? Let's say if you increase the conversion rate by this percent to this, what are the examples that you have been seeing that help them people to see the value?
I mean, it's probably the level of excitement that comes out of me when I realize how much, where the conversion leaks are and that we can fix it. I think, yes, that probably plays a role. But yeah, it's both. Like you've seen, some of the strategy documents I put together. There is a visual house
Fantastic.
because I'm quite a visual person, and we have half of the house that is the technical infrastructure side of things, and the other half is the this more sexy user experience side of things. But all of that together, is designed to increase ROI, and that's the most powerful story that we tell, is showing them, just what return on investment they're missing by not addressing these issues.
I like your house example. Should you explain that? That is a really interesting example.
So the roof of the house is a triangle. This is an e-commerce brand, so it's designed to inspire. So aesthetics, obviously, really important. Most purchases are emotional purchases, so having that design aspect is obviously very important. But then it's engineered to convert, and I think that's where a lot of people forget about that. They create a beautiful website that they're really proud of. Look at our fabulous new branded website. Perhaps they've even got a creative agency to create this website, but it doesn't actually convert in any way. People don't circulate around it. So, there's no point in having a pretty website if it's not serving a purpose. So the site is designed to inspire, but also engineered in a way to move people through that site and get those people to, and in the case of e-commerce, to purchase. And then the house is made up of 4 pillars. 2 of the pillars are the technical infrastructure and performance, and this is, having a solid foundation. Like if you were building a physical house, you need a strong foundation. So a site that has been, engineered with the business result in mind, that is a fast, lightweight site. There's no point in building a house if it takes 7 seconds to load. It's never going to rank. People aren't ever going to stay on it. So building a fast site that integrates with all of the tools that you need it to integrate with. So that might be an inventory management system. It might be a CRM. The plumbing matters.
Yeah.
When it comes to websites, essentially, and also building them in a way that, this is technical SEO really, but in a way that AI agents are able to pass, because people are searching more and more using AI tools. So you're going to make sure that your website isn't, a wall. So that's the 2 pillars of the website, of the house. And then the other side is the user experience, or, the path to purchase. And that's all about identifying the conversion leaks. So we, don't just make assumptions on what we think would be a good idea. From a user experience perspective, all of our decisions are data driven. So we actually study how people are moving around our clients' sites as it is, and we see where they're bouncing, where those friction points are, and we put in a strategy specifically designed to plug those gaps. So there's that side of things. And then there's also the navigation side of things. So actually helping people find what it is they're looking for, because, depending on the sector, it varies. But, for the sector I was talking to this morning, 40% of people within that category arrive on that site and they know they need to buy something, but they don't know what they want. Yeah. And a lot of websites make the decision to list their products and services by products and services, but it's just overwhelming for users. So we work with the organization on that information architecture to create sort of intent-led experiences to help people understand and get to what they're ideally looking for.
That's an interesting example with the AI, use of AI as well, navigating all this mega menu and all complex structure and finding the product. I guess people will eventually find it very overwhelming, and they want to quickly find as you said, based on the intent, they want to quickly find and get into the product that they want, whatever that size and color and different metrics are. I like your foundation, four pillar structure and house.
It's not rocket science, but it works.
That's the really good. Anyone can relate to a house.
It's better than bullet points on a slide, isn't it? Yeah.
That is a really good example. Can you share one example where the client was really hesitant to making like investment into the website improvement, but they did, and they saw the big impact in their business? Is there any example you could share?
Yeah, I mean that's quite common in most situations. I don't think anyone, I think there's always a bit of a journey to take. People are nervous, about investing in websites usually. So it's only when they start to see the results that the investment becomes obvious. There's lots of examples. The one that we're working on at the moment is this organization was not in a great financial position. They'd been working with an advertising agency in spending tens of thousands of dollars every month to try and generate new leads. And they just she wasn't getting any new customers at all. So the business was being kept afloat by returning customers. We audited the sites and we found, we're looking at the house, many technical issues that were, influencing the searchability, that I need to start that again. So we audited the site and we found, just like the house, numerous technical issues with the site that were limiting the performance of the site, but also some major user experience issues. So that I think people had to take 10 steps to get a quote for this particular product, and we know that people are time poor. People have no patience. They're not going to take 10 steps to get a quote. So yeah, within month one of working with that organization, we reduced the load time of the site from being something ridiculous like 7 seconds to being, milliseconds.
Wow.
Which made an immediate jump. Yeah, and then we've been gradually, because this woman didn't have a big budget to do a major redesign. We, just as I was saying, we identified what those quick wins would be. We would be analysed at a micro level, the user journey that people were going through to obtain a quotes and seeing where they were leaving the site. So instead of doing a big expensive rebuild, we made micro improvements, removing stages, bringing trust signals into the quote process, and we've steadily every week seen the number of quotes, going up. So, it works.
Yeah, I like the idea of quick wins, focusing on those, small blocker and small, improvement that you can make quickly that makes a big impact. That's a really good strategy.
Yeah. And sometimes, people want a massive digital transformation project, and we do that too, and that's exciting.
When the foundation of house is not right, you need to start rebuilding as well.
And that's also being able to discern, stabilize is what we try to do first of all. But there can become a point, just depending on the state of the website and the age of the website, where a marketing budget is being spent just on maintaining the site, fixing problems, whacking them all, and actually nothing on the growth. So at that point, it's the right thing to do is to say, let's start again and start spending your marketing budget on growth.
Yeah. Sometimes, when the foundation gets too old and its reliability becomes too high, too dated, that totally makes sense. I have seen your strategy. You go a lot deeper to build a comprehensive strategy for client. I have seen it going into all the Google Analytics, Search Console, Clarity, and Heat Map, and Behavior Tool, and all these things, and the technical audit and all these things. One of the questions I had was, how do you turn that comprehensive strategy into action? Because there are a lot of things you have gone into detail, figuring out the business outcomes and trying to connect all these dots. How do you translate that into action? Where to focus on what, and how do you work with the team to execute those strategies?
Yeah, and that's why the process is really important. So, the first step of the process is working with the client to get their perspective on the website. And that will often, for a sizable website, start with an interactive whiteboarding session. I might go into the client's physical office or do it remotely with a digital whiteboard, but get as many stakeholders as possible in a room and understand how they use the website, how they want to use the website, and what's blocking them. And then also get, any big ideas that they've had for their website that they've never been able to achieve. So just forming an understanding from their perspective of what they love and hate and are blocked with on the website. And I also ask them, describe your website right now in 3 words. That's extremely telling. So, and that's the starting point. I then basically digest all of this whiteboard information and pull it into a matrix listing what are the issues. And I break them down into, well, these are technical issues. This is a user experience issue. This is an analytics issue. And then, from my years of being a strategist in this kind of work, I have a stab at what I believe might be the solution here, taking from what they think, also from my own experience. I then brief this into the engineering team, the delivery team, the project management team, and also our user experience specialists. And then we have another collaborative session together, which we call a solution exploration session, where we go line by line and debate amongst ourselves what is the right approach for this, so that we then have a visual representation of what we believe to be the best strategy. And then the team will go away and estimate ballpark of what they believe the time investment will be. And then it comes back to me, and we'll go back and present often a few options to the client. There's rarely just one way to do things, and there may be different directions, or there may be, we think this should be a project, or we think we can do X, Y, Z in sort of more of a retainer arrangement. So we pitch the options to them with some price brackets, and in that, showing what we believe will be the likely return on investment by looking at their actual traffic numbers and conversion data. So that tends to be the typical process, if you could say we have a typical process.
Yeah, I have seen those whiteboards and comprehensive, but your strategy.
Yeah, and everything always starts with the technical discovery. Yeah. So the first, if they, we don't just go and build it. If they agree, the first stage is we will have a couple of weeks up to a couple of months to set, depending on the size of the project, of technical discovery, where everything is fully scoped and estimated and de-risked, and we understand the interdependencies of things, and from there then we have a full project plan. But that's that's the process.
That's the best. It has to be as well. You bridge the gap and you bring all the stakeholders from different department, business, marketing, sales, and in the technical team to bridge the gap, and then connect all the dots and go to the root cause of the problem.
Yes.
And solve it permanently, not just kind of
No, you've got to solve it permanently for everybody, not just the marketing manager, and not just what I think, and not just what an engineering person thinks. It's like everybody needs to agree that we know what the problems are, and we know that what we're proposing is going to solve that problem. And then only when we've got everybody's buy-in on that do we actually pick up the tools.
Yep. And finally, website falls into the marketing department. And when you work with this marketing team, let's say the marketing leader who is unsure about the budget, getting the extra budget for that work after the strategy and so on, what do you say to them?
I mean, it's more of what is the cost of not doing it? And that looks different for different organizations. For some, it's like, our site just continues to be a brochure that doesn't really do anything for our business. But Is that really what you want from your digital platform? It could do so much more.
When you have an ambition to grow, the marketing is one of the biggest lever in the business to grow. And the cost of not doing is, I guess, a lot higher, a lot bigger than
Yeah,
in those kind of situations.
it is.
Yeah. But you facilitate and you help them to show the value and how to improve, how to get to from A to B where they want to be, and what it has to be done to get there.
Sure.
That's your role.
Yeah. And I would only suggest things that I genuinely believe are going to achieve their objectives. Like my role as a problem solver, really. They tell me what their problems are. I work with our internal department to come back with what we strongly believe is a solution to that problem. You know?
Yeah.
I only go back with conviction, you know. So yeah, and stay with them throughout, you know. So that's like we do care. And I think
I've
that
seen that.
really matters. Care too much sometimes, but yes, we
You
care.
really care about clients. You're really putting into their shoes, and you want to help them achieve their goal. That's what I have seen your strategies, and you go a lot deeper, and you do a lot of research, and you put all the team together to get the solution they need, rather than just kind of shallow, projecting quick wins without going to the deeper root cause of the problem.
That matters a great deal to me.
Yeah, and that's the teamwork.
Yeah.
Whether the client, our partners, marketing agencies, and other partners as well. That's the teamwork.
Yes.
When a client works with us for long term, what makes them successful?
They've got to be invested. We are custodians of their website, but you can't just set and forget. We are a partner. I'm the client partner. Like this, you can't just brief us once and then never look at the website again. Like we can keep the lights on, but to really make this a growth asset for your business, you've got to work with us. And that's why we have quarterly strategy sessions for us to say, well, this is what we're seeing in your website. This is what we're seeing in the industry. This is what we think based on our knowledge, but tell us what's going on in your business. What are you grappling with at the moment? Have you got any new campaigns coming up? Let's bring your website, in a more integrated way into whatever else you're doing when you're marketing.
They have to be fully invested, all in.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to take over their life at all. Like that, if we do these strategy sessions well every quarter, that's pretty much all they need to do. But yeah, be invested. Give us information so that we can do the rest.
Yeah, support the team.
Yeah.
Achieve the goal.
If you're a marketing leader wondering whether your site could do more, what Stacey just shared is exactly what we would find out. Follow the Marketechs show. See you next time.